Estuary News tonight, the next phase for the Greater Grimsby project, a new cycling circuit opens in Hull and Hello Campus in Beverley. And later in tonight's programme I'll be talking to Liz McTernan and Chloey Rose. Plans to submit an ambitious multi-million-pound deal to central government to rejuvenate parts of Grimsby Town Centre have been approved. North East Lincolnshire Council has drawn up the proposals for the Greater Grimsby project. It could become the blueprint for how similar towns across the country work with central government on major regeneration projects. At a special cabinet meeting today, members gave the green light to submit the plans that include building over 7,000 new homes and growing the local economy by creating over 5,000 jobs. Hull's new 1 kilometre closed road cycle circuit was officially opened today by double Paralympic champion Adam Duggleby, MBE. The all-weather circuit offers a number of loops and straight lines to help gain confidence and develop general cycling skills. Work on the project next to the Ennerdale Leisure Centre started in December and is available to cycling clubs and the wider community to learn, train and compete. Johnny Clay, director at British Cycling, says the circuit will help deal with traffic issues.
The open highway is kind of our greatest facility in many respects, and off-road routes, etc. But with traffic growing, and as we grow as a sport, introducing new people into cycling, young people in particular, but also those people that rode a bike perhaps 20, 30, 40 years ago, they're concerned about traffic as well. So it's a great place to come and build up your confidence, gain new skills before you go back on the road. And of course, beyond that, then it'll be used for lots of serious bike racing and formal activity on an ongoing basis. So a great boost for Hull.
I think it's going to be a facility that's going to benefit younger people more. I mean, there's quite a big barrier to getting into cycling. Seems to be people's, like they feel like they're not safe to ride on the road. So this sort of cuts that out really. So you can get into cycling, get confident on a bike, and then hopefully that'll lead to having more confidence on the road as well. And also they'll have a lot of races for the younger people. I'm hoping that they'll put on races for people under 12, get people in cycling early, and then that'll lead to you might get your next Cavendish or whatever out of it.
The leader of East Riding Council says abolishing the Humber Bridge tolls would make perfect sense. Councillor Stephen Parnaby argues that scrapping the tolls would create an economic boost to the local economy and help the housing market prosper. Mr Parnaby has been giving his views after it was announced earlier this month that tolls on the 7 bridges between England and Wales will be ending next year.
It just makes complete sense, whether for this site or otherwise. In this day and age, I mean, for the relatively small amount of money when you're looking at the national debt, what it would do to the economy here would be fantastic, and what it would do for things like housing market, where people have a choice between North and South Bank. That's never been really the case. So I look forward to the day that those are removed.
A new exhibition is taking a nostalgic look at the history of the British holiday camp. Running at the Treasure House in Beverley until September, it features framed prints, original artefacts and games from the holiday camp's heyday. Sally Hayes, curator at the Treasure House, hopes it will evoke memories.
The exhibition's called Morning Campers, the British Holiday Camp. It's a touring exhibition from a woman called Emma Warren, who does lots of exhibitions to do with sort of social history, and a lot of them are kind of everyday subjects that contain the kind of just everyday objects, but will hopefully bring back lots of memories for lots of people. Well, I think it's important to always have a variety in the programme. We're always trying to get new visitors, and it could be that one particular theme will really draw people in, and then hopefully they'll become repeat visitors in the future. I think this area particularly, it's got quite a wealth of sort of holiday camp history. So we've got Butlins in Skegness, which is still going strong. That opened in 1936, and that was actually the first Butlins camp that Billy Butlins opened. And then we've got Filey Butlins, which closed in the 80s, which has been a big part in a lot of people's memories and heritage. And we've got quite a few objects of our own on display from Filey Butlins, because one of the things we quite like to do with these touring exhibitions is try and add some of our own material, because people might not realise that as well as taking in projects such as the wildlife photography, we do have a big collection of our own stuff in the museum service. So yeah, it was a nice chance to get some of our own social history bits and bobs out as well. I suppose things do change so much, don't they? But also it's I don't know. It's that trip down memory lane. I think it's whether it's from the 70s, the 80s, or even going back to the 40s. You know, we all like to sort of see things from the past, don't we? And it's amazing, once you see a trigger, some little thing, you start remembering all sorts of other things that come back to you. So we've got some nice little things such as like the ferry tickets that you would have been given when you booked your ticket from Hull to Skegness, and that might then bring back a memory of going on the ferry that people have forgotten all about.
But now time for a chat with my first guest this evening, songstress Chloey Rose. It's a case of true love.
Oh yes, I'm very excited to tell you all about it.
Welcome back to the programme, Chloe. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. You last appeared on The Sofa with Hugh back in February,
Yes.
talking about your debut single, Golden Dreams. And now you're back again, so well done on releasing your second single. It was released on the 14th of July,
That's it, yep.
hot off the press.
Oh yeah, it's doing very well. It's got loads of radio play at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, Links
Excellent.
FM. I think it's on Compass FM, BBC Radio Lincolnshire. It's track of the week.
Fantastic.
As well on that,
So
very
the
good.
message is getting out there.
Yeah, it's just getting people to hear you, really, isn't it? That's the key. But
Is that the hard thing you find about being an unsigned singer-songwriter?
yeah, because nobody really knows you're there, so you have to try, make your connections and network with different people and just keep performing, really. That's all I'd say to people that want to do the same thing.
Okay, good advice. Good advice. Now, Sweetheart, True Love is the title of this second single.
Yeah.
First of all, where did the inspiration come from for this new song?
The inspiration came from, well, when I start writing songs, I usually write about what I've experienced or stories that I've heard, and I always write a bit dramatic, And this song's quite dramatic, but yeah, it's sort of about breaking free from a relationship that wasn't good and coming out of that and flying in a way. A bit dramatic, a bit corny, but
Absolutely, but we like the message, what the song's trying to
That's
create.
it,
So
yeah.
it gives a sense of freedom and liberation.
yeah. I'm so excited for everyone to hear it as well. So.
Fantastic, fantastic. So available now on
Google
where
Play.
can people get hold of the song?
Yeah, it's from iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon. You can even get it on SoundCloud as well.
Okay. And like you said, it's been very well received by various platforms, including our very good friends here at Estuary TV News.
Yeah.
What would you say you've learned since your first single, Golden Dreams, to True Love now? Have you developed any sort of new musical styles, or has there been any major influences? Is it a kind of shift in genre from the first single, would you say?
I'd say it's sort of a similar kind of genre. Between the two singles, I did also do a collaboration on a dance track, which is very different for me. But this music it's the same kind of powerful ballad.
Okay.
But I take my influences from acts such as Kate Bush. She's amazing. She's very quirky. She's quite out there. And at the time when she was first out, a few eras ago. Was it a few eras ago?
The sublime Kate Bush. I mean, like you say, she's very quirky.
Yes, she is.
And she released one of my favourite tracks back in the 80s, Running Up That Hill.
Oh my gosh, that's my favourite song.
Fantastic. We have
I
something in
love that.
common at least.
That's
It's a
it.
great track. Aside from Kate Bush, who else would you say your musical influences are?
I love Lana Del Rey.
Okay, so quite a modern.
Yeah,
Singer.
modern
Yeah.
singer. And then there's Ben Howard as well. He's fantastic. He's got like a great voice and he's really passionate. I love that about him.
So that's interesting that you say that male singers also influence your
music
music
as well, yeah.
Okay. Now, I believe you're going to be doing some touring later in the year, starting off at Market Race and Racecourse.
Yes, Ladies'
for 2nd of
Day.
July. And People's Park in Grimsby on the 21st of October.
Yeah.
And then culminating at the Grimsby Auditorium on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm so excited about it.
How did all these dates, these performances come about?
I think I just kept performing, and just people would come up to me and say, "Would you like to perform here?" And it's great, it honestly is. And that's the key, really, just to perform anywhere and get your music out there. And it's good to showcase new music as well.
And I suppose as well, Chloe, that helps you, have a relationship with the fans at that very direct level, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was really good because I recently did Princess Key in the shopping centre, and a few of the fans got to know me from that, and they were like, "Oh, I really liked your song," and then they bought it from there. And yeah, it is good to get a new fan base. So just to keep performing.
Chloe, would you say you've got a fan base across the board? You know, who would you say your music specifically appeals to, or is it right across the board?
I'd say it's all over the place, really. Probably 18 to, it could be right up to sort of 50s, 60s. I suppose, you know, like Adele, she's that type of music range, sort of her audience, and Amy Winehouse is sort of audience as well.
One of my favourite singers.
She's got the most fantastic voice, hasn't she?
Very tragic what happened to Amy, unfortunately, all those years ago. You're an unsigned singer-songwriter, as we said earlier. What would you say makes a great singer?
I'd say somebody that can really like show the passion in the song, get the words really across. I think to write something that will influence people, that will make a difference, I think that's the key. And then when you're on stage as well, be able to sort of really present yourself really well. Yeah, I'd say that.
Great advice, Chloe, great advice. And where would you like to see yourself in, let's say, 10 years' time? Oh
gosh, I tell you, you might think this is crazy, but I'd love to be a recording artist all over the world, travel the world, do tour. I mean, you've got to dream, even if it never happens.
No, it's great to have dreams, and dreams can often come true.
That's
Welcome back, you're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, all the latest sports news with Dan, and I'll be talking to Liz McTernan on her charity challenge. Now, I'm joined on the server by my second guest this evening, Liz McTernan, who has just returned from New York City, competing in the New York City Triathlon.
That's right.
Good evening, Liz. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
My first question, the concerned interviewer that I am, have you recovered from jet lag?
No, definitely not, because the flight was an overnight flight. So, yes, yesterday was a bit manic, and then today is interesting, but it's okay.
Well, thank you for making the effort to come in to the programme.
That's fine, thanks. Nice
Tell
to be
me
here.
how the last few days have gone in New York, first of all.
Well, it's the third time that I've done the New York City Triathlon, and last year I was overall winner, and this year I was also overall winner in the female, over all the females, and I set a new course record, so I'm really pleased. It's not normally the distance that I race at.
Okay, so what was the new record, what you set?
It's the time record. So it's the only paratriathlon race in the world where they actually use a PAR system.
Right.
So they have a course record for each of our categories, and there's 5 categories. I'm PT1, or the old PT1, I think it's called PTWC now. Wheelchair users, basically.
Right, okay.
And so they have a PAR time for each category, and the nearer you come when you finish to that PAR time, to the course record, the more PAR points you have.
Right.
And then obviously that's how they sort out first, second and third male, first, second and third female. So rather pleased with that.
Quite rightly so.
Thanks.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What medals have you brought along to the programme this evening?
Ooh,
Some of what you've won over the course of the last few days?
Yes, the one that I've won over the last few days is I've got the trophy here.
Let's have a look, Liz. Thank you very much. So this is what you've just won, hot off the press.
Hot off the press, and they've just emailed me to say my prize money is coming.
Fantastic.
And then everyone gets the finisher's medal, which is rather humongous.
Okay.
But
great to add to your existing collection.
Got a few.
Brilliant.
Yes. I've got
was there a lot of people you was competing against in the challenge?
Do you know, I haven't looked at the results, so I think there were about 20 of us, male and female.
And is this from across the world?
There were a couple of Canadians. I was the only Brit. Most were Americans. Last year there were more international athletes, but Challenged Athlete Foundation offer grants, but they could only offer 9 grants this year.
Fantastic.
So that you can afford to go over.
Excellent. So what does it mean to have this opportunity to have competed in this event?
Well, for me it's a practice event, a practice race, because it's only a quarter of the distance of an Ironman. But it allows me to just practice a little bit of race nutrition, a bit of strategies, how I transfer from each item of equipment, that kind of thing.
So this will be building you up nicely for the Ironman Challenge, which is taking place in Hawaii in October?
That's right, 14th of October.
14th of October. So, you've got to raise around £14,000, is that correct?
Yes, what I'm trying to do is get a new bike. Because in Kona, there's only one woman that's actually finished the race in my category, in the wheelchair race, using a hand cycle and a racing wheelchair. Because the bike course is 112 miles, 180, 190 kilometres. So it's a very long course, and it's affected by wind a lot, and it's also hilly. Yes, and it's very hot. So I would like to get a new more aerodynamic bike, and there's a carbon bike made in the USA called carbonbike.usa that is the best bike in the world, basically.
And does it set us back quite a bit in monetary figures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And is that area chosen because of the challenges what are ahead, like you said, the hilliness and
definitely.
hot weather?
The bike I have now is aluminium. So although it was a custom fork and a custom frame, being shorter because I'm quite petite, hasn't got a base to it. It's open. So and the fork is different. The aerodynamic bike literally has one stay on the front, so the wind doesn't cut through so much. Then it has a shape on the bottom, and then almost like a foil on the back.
Okay.
So it will make me 1 to 2 kilometres per hour faster.
Fantastic. Now, Liz, do you see yourself as an inspiration to other fellow disabled athletes out there?
I hope I can encourage other people that despite having an acquired disability that I got later in life, it doesn't really matter. You can still find a sport that you love, get fit and healthy, stay fit and healthy.
Just have that dedication and passion. You are clearly passionate.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely, if I had to choose, and I usually do just paracycling would be the one that I'm going to stay with for life.
Okay.
The swim, I love swimming. The wheelchair racing is very difficult for me because I have a weaker left arm, and it shows up more on the racing wheelchair. Okay. But I love the bike.
And I'm sure you're proud to represent the area of Lincolnshire where you were born and bred.
Definitely, although I wasn't born and bred in Lincolnshire. I've lived here for 13 years.
Okay.
My children were brought up here.
Okay. Fantastic. Liz, if people want to donate to your efforts for the Ironman World Championships in October, how can they do that?
I have a crowdfunding page.
Okay.
So I'm under Liz McTernan Hand Cycling Triathlete, and that details what I've done, what I've achieved so far, and what I'm aiming to achieve. I also have a Facebook page, an athlete Facebook page that's public. My own is private because it's friends and family only.
Sure.
And that's Liz McTernan Hand Cycling at Hand Cycling.
So lots of ways for people to get in touch. I wish you all the best. Please come back and see us soon. New handheld devices are being rolled out at Scunthorpe and Grimsby hospitals. Designed to improve patient safety, the smartphones enable staff to record vital observations at the bedside, such as blood pressure and heart rate. The rollout is part of the Trust Deteriorating Improvement Project. It's one of a number of initiatives to improve staff response rates and interventions required for patients whose condition may be worsening. The RNLI has launched a new appeal. £35,000 is needed to fund life-saving kits for their lifeguards in Bridlington. As August approaches, the charity's lifeguards at the North and South beaches are gearing up for an extra influx of visitors. It means the kits will receive increased wear and tear. The new equipment will enable the lifeguards to continue their life-saving work next year. The appeal runs until the 31st of December. And now it's time for all the latest news from the world of sport with our man Dan.
Hull FC head coach Lee Radford says he was unbelievably pleased and proud of his players' performance in making it through to the Challenge Cup final for the second year in a row. The Early Birds beat Leeds Rhinos 43-24 on Saturday as they look to win the competition now for their second consecutive year. Radford's side look to be heading into the half-time break 12-6 down before quickfire converted tries from Carlos Tuamavave and Chris Green put FC 18-12 up. They pressed home their advantage in the second period with another try by Tuamavave and Liam Watts, Jamie Shaw and Scott Taylor tries. They'll take on the Wigan Warriors in the Wembley Showpiece on Saturday the 26th of August. Before then, FC have the Super 8s to contend with. Their 8s campaigns begins on Friday evening when Salford travel to the KCOM. Hull Kingston Rovers have confirmed that new signing Mossy Massot has now received a visa to allow him into the UK. It's been revealed that supporters group the Rovers Supporters Group have been giving a helping hand in getting him to the city. They paid for his travel costs. He should arrive in the UK tomorrow and may be included in the squad for KR's Super 8 opener to face Halifax on Sunday. Football now, and Hull City boss Leonid Slutsky says he's happy and his squad's spirit and character going into the new season. City rounded off their pre-season with a 3-3 draw against Dutch side Ajax on Friday, and preparations now start for Saturday's league opener away to Aston Villa. The Russian added that the players have a big week of training ahead of them and says that they'll be ready for their trip to the Midlands come Saturday tea time. And the club are hosting an open training and signing session tomorrow. They'll be there and bring you some of City's new signings in tomorrow's show. Scunthorpe United finished off their pre-season campaign with a 2-1 defeat away to Luton Town on Saturday. Paddy Madden put the Iron ahead at Kenilworth Road, but led only for a matter of moments until Luton frontman James Collins put home a penalty to equalise. Luton then took the lead in the latter stages of the game when Jack Stacey struck for the Hatters. And also the Iron acquired the loan services of Man United youngster Devante Redmond late on Friday evening, and he made his first outing for Graham Alexander's side in that game. Grimsby Town have gone ahead and signed trialist Paul Dixon on a permanent deal. The left-back has signed a 2-year contract with the Mariners. Meanwhile, Adi Youssef has left the club despite only joining Town in January. He's joined National League side Barrow. And on the pitch, Russell Slade's side ended their pre-season with a 1-1 draw against Wigan Athletic at Blundell Park. The visitors took the lead early on thanks to Callum Lang's goal, but Ben Davis equalised with a penalty. Slade says he was pleased with his team's performance and the pre-season as a whole. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Dan. That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. Don't forget, from Wednesday, we'll be bringing you a condensed news programme from 4:45 until 5 p.m, ahead of our exclusive coverage of the Edinburgh Festival. Great fun. We will be back tomorrow live at 5:30, and if you have a news story, please get in touch with us in the usual ways. We'll see you on the programme tomorrow.